Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning podcast brought to you commercial-free by another podcast. You've subscribed to ours, now subscribe to theirs. It's the Slow County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze. When you're done with this, go listen to something that will actually enrich your life. California DRE 011111911.
Quite understandably, the favorite. Foreman comes out punching with the right. Historically, Frazier has not been a good first-round fight. Oh, Foreman connected. I think he hurt Joe Frazier. Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
One of the most famous calls of all time, right? Howard Cosell on the call. George Foreman passing away over the weekend. I think maybe Friday afternoon. I saw it Saturday. And I thought of you. I thought of you first because you were not necessarily a fan of the boxer, but you were a big fan of the George Foreman grill. In college, I remember you always had two on your counter, and you were like, yep. I can do this and this one, I can do that and that one.
It's been replaced by the air fryer in my buy-in, I guess, the buy-in ability of the tabletop or countertop appliance. Don't have a George Foreman grill anymore. Do they still do the George Foreman grill? Is there still George Foreman?
I mean, they have like panini press type grills, kind of like the George Foreman grill, but I don't know if I haven't seen a George Foreman in quite some time. If anybody has one, feel free to reach out. But or
is
if
it
you've
full
seen
knockoff territory
at Walmart, I would go to Amazon and see if you can buy a George Foreman grill.
I don't watch Seinfeld as much as you do. I'm about 30% on Seinfeld. I like it. Okay.
Well, in all
30%
clarity here,
I'll enjoy
transparency, I haven't watched Seinfeld in almost a decade, but I did used to watch it all the time.
How come there was never a storyline, or maybe there was? I don't know. Something. Oh no, Frasier's totally different. Frasier. Who's the funny guy on Seinfeld? The neighbor, Michael
Kramer.
Richards.
Kramer.
What's it?
Kramer.
Okay.
Kramer. Yeah.
All right. Never mind. Frasier was the other show that you liked. You liked Frasier more than you liked Seinfeld, didn't you?
No, I think they're both about the same. They were a little different, but yeah, I liked them both. Shows that I would just binge watch over and over. And then it became Raymond. The Office has always been a staple. I watch these shows over and over because I'm not into finding a new show, but lately I've been finding a lot of new like TV series on all these different networks. Everybody seems to be doing something good every once in a while. But yeah, George Foreman. I thought of you because of the grill, and I know that he was a great boxer back in the day. But the Foreman grill is what kind of
grips
gave him
of money.
2.0. Yeah, he was. I guess
he made so much money off those. It's ridiculous.
Before he did that,
I don't know what he did except for lend his name to it and do some infomercials.
I guess before he did that, he was doing a bunch of testimonials for other companies, and people would keep hiring him. And he was doing that before he started the George Foreman grill.
Hi, I'm George Foreman, and this is my lean, mean, fat-reducing grilling machine.
I'd really gotten popular on Madison Avenue. We'd done Doritos, McDonald's, and Meineke. Every commercial there was, we made a lot of money. People would pay you a lot of money to do a commercial. But then after a period of time, they move on to someone else. And finally, a friend of mine said, George, you're making all these other companies wealthy. Why don't you get your own product? And we looked around and found the grill. No one wanted to be bothered with it at all. They had names for it, jokes for it. But I took it and they said, try that. And I didn't want to use it, but my wife insisted. She said, it works, George. And the grease really rolled off and it's still tender. I ate it. I said, boy, let's do it. I never expected it to be so successful. And then all of a sudden, the checks just started rolling in. This thing sold over 100 million.
You end up being bought out for something like $140 million. At one point, checks were coming in for upwards of like $4 million monthly.
$5 million.
He was bigger than Ronco. Set it and forget it.
With that one product. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Because I think what Ron Popeil would do is he would move on too quickly, and he wouldn't.
Oh, he was doing this. He was doing that.
He wouldn't take one product and then make it better. I remember there were different iterations of the George Foreman grill, and the last one I had, I didn't really like it all that much. Than the previous ones that I'd had, and I probably owned 4 to 5 George Foreman grills. But the one I got as a Christmas present, And I thought it was a really big, it looked like a big waffle maker, but huge. And the grills came off of it so you could clean them easier. And that was always the big knock against the George Foreman grill, was cleaning the grills was a little bit difficult because you had to take
the whole unit,
an electric appliance and try to figure out how to hold it underneath the sink without ruining it. And this one had the lift off grills. I was like, okay, perfect. But it didn't drain as well because it didn't sit at that lean-to angle like the OG George Foreman grills.
Yeah.
And then they started coming up with all these different kinds of ways to reinvent the wheel with the George Foreman grill, when really just a really big one with that lean-to would probably be the best. And then you just clean it right afterwards. You make sure you stay vigilant on it. The problem is I wouldn't clean it afterwards, and then it would become a problem. I'd eat my meal and then I'd run out the door and I'd come home and it'd be a greasy mess with cheese and stuff on it that I had to clean up. I'm like, oh,
I remember
how
one
am I
night
going to get this cleaned up?
we came back after the bars had closed, and you're like, I'm going to make us some burgers on the George Foreman grill.
They're excellent.
And you had almost like a grease fire.
It worked really well.
There was grease all over the
It worked really well.
Because I think we were kind of like listening to music in the living room, and then we go back and check out the burgers, and the whole thing was just full of the counter.
Well,
was full of grease.
my plan was, and this is what I would do, is I would turn it on, let everything that was on it get hot again, and then wipe it off with like a wet paper towel or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
But there was too much that was going on that thing that night. A lot of grease.
Down the road, I mean, there'll be history books about his fighting, but he might be more known for a pitchman than he was a fighter.
Dude, totally. Totally. I mean, like, prior to his passing,
the older
if you were to ask
generation,
him,
and you know who I'm talking to right now, y'all. When's y'all gone? And
well, and not a super great fighter. I mean, yeah, he won some big matches, but like his biggest contribution to society is not in a boxing ring. It's the Foreman grill, because there was so many others that came along after it that were kind of like it. And, like you said, now there's knockoffs left and right, and you don't even know if you can buy it. Let's see. Amazon's having Prime Days right now, right?
yeah, check it out. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the best sold on TV items ever. I'm thinking like the Thigh Master.
That's not the best.
That's not the best.
We just mentioned.
I think we did. I don't know if there's anything that beats it. 805-543-3693. You can weigh in.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. Listen online at kzoz.com.
Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning podcast, brought to you commercial free by another podcast. You've subscribed to ours, now subscribe to theirs. It's the Slow County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze. When you're done with this, go listen to something that will actually enrich your life. California DRE 01111 911.